Now you do realize different people have different input, they think things differently, then also they give different recommendation. Instrumentation group, they're probably thinking about linking some valves together, so process may think something else, and that's why it's important to have a little bit of explain group. I guess we're going to do this exercise together. Sorry that I didn't explain things very well at the beginning. The first deviation is when we use the guide word no and or none on the parameter of flow, and we have a deviation of no flow, and the type is a pipeline, and we're supposed to have the design conditions and parameters in there, the temperature, pressure, flow, and put the drawing number and the revision number, because once you implemented the recommendation, and you're going to have a different set of drawing, and if you don't put a revision number, people cannot go back and check what happened, and the equipment ID. And so what causes no flow in this node?
Equipment ID, in this case, is the number?
Yeah, you have a number, so I guess I didn't add them. So what can cause no flow in here? And so what can cause valve A to be closed?
Operator.
So then we're supposed to put here an operator error. I cannot really see what I'm writing here. Or valve A, that will be left closed, right? It's not the valve itself failed and just closed on itself. And so what happens if we have valve A closed? No reaction, then you have no production either, right? So you have loss of production. Do we have other consequences? No, that wouldn't be a good one to put in there. Excess ammonia in the supplying tank, right? In the reactor or in the reactor. Then, and also because remember this is a continuous process. That means if phosphoric acid is not drained out from this tank may be overflow as well, right? Because we don't know if it's a large enough tank and how often to be filled, so let's just say may or might overfill. So do we have any safeguard?
We thought of that it might be an analyzer, the reactor that could tell us the concentration.
Oh, what do you mean might be? Do you see it in here? See, that's part of the HAZOP. Sorry, I didn't mention, because you have to rely on what you have. You cannot imagine this is going to happen or something. So then, do you have anything that we can think of that's a safeguard in this case? So that's a none, right? And can we think about the severity for this to happen using the table in here?
2. We put down 2.
2, that's a first aid case.
Yeah.
Why is cause first aid? First aid is basically. Oh, you mean you basically based on the business interruption side is going to cost $10,000 to $100,000, right?
No, we didn't consider that. We don't know how much volume they are and how much that would cost in dollars. But we just believe that that ammonia having too much of that, they create a environment that could cause first aid type of.
Okay, great. And how likely for this to happen?
3, we put down.
What is a 3? 3 is unlikely to occur more than once. I guess if an operator got into this trouble, he will remember this. So hopefully he will stop it. So with 2 and 3, we get B. Right? If you look at this.
So it's 2 and 3, that's the
No, severity. No, severity is 2. So you go here, this is number 2. And the likelihood to go to a 3. So you get to a B. So that comes with a B. And what's the description for B is?
When you go through this, do you just kind of vote on this? Or what? Do you agree?
Yes, if people cannot agree on this, you go back to the literature trying to find the likelihood number, but the severity actually is determined by the whole team.
Okay.
Yeah, this is our team.
So we did it right. When we just said we think it's a 2, who says not. We was like arguing like 2 and 3.
Yeah, and and also about likelihood. Normally, the operating people they because they have many years of experience and they see how often things happen and how often a pump will fail.
They had a motor line
Uh-huh.
They evacuated the whole time for a whole day. It's uncomparable to the standard.
Do they bring like their records, like how many times that valve was left closed, from the last?
They don't exactly bring the record, but they remember that and say that if we cannot agree on something, then we have to go back and check everything. So because ammonia is corrosive, right? It's burning. It's an alkaline. So and. And B is acceptable, no mitigation action required. So we don't necessarily need to put any recommendation. But if you think you definitely need to do something, then you have to, in order to make it enforceable, is you have to make the risk higher. So they know in order to lower it, it has to be, So basically, it's safe enough to run, even. Yeah, so then there's no necessary. We'll find one that we have to have a recommendation.
If you don't have recommendation, you don't do the residual risk and so on.
Right. Then, yeah. Sorry, I didn't explain the residual risk. Basically, that's the risk after you have the recommendation, assuming your recommendation has been implemented into the design, and supposing that will lower the risk to some acceptable level, so the plant can detect. So, do we have other causes for no flow besides valve A closed by the operator, left closed? Mm-hmm. And what causes this? acid in the tank.
Something else interesting. That will be the thing. There's something wrong.
And the consequences, is that the same as above? And the rest is the same? And how about the risk? Do we have the same likelihood for this to happen, or it's unlikely? Okay, would that give us an A? And also, I'm thinking about, okay, if it depends on how you piped this, and is there a possibility for, because that line is empty, and is there a possibility for ammonia backflow into that line? Yeah. Well, that we have to just face whatever we have right now. We don't have more information. So shall we make it more severe, say, okay, ammonia backflow in here? So then if that happens to backflow into the line, ammonia backflow into a phosphoric acid line and tank, when you actually have the line, you actually have the acid, you may have unwanted reaction into the wrong location, right? Sorry, I don't know. Anyone know? So that's the part about brainstorming, thinking about it. Do I have any more consequences? Yeah, because you line. You may have a different material for the line, different, I don't know how to spell. What? Yeah, that will help myself too, so I can. All right. Any more? during this.
Yeah. Is that what we're saying?
I guess right now it shows this tank is kind of an open tank.
It's already, it is open?
Uh-huh.
Okay, so atmosphere. So this is the environment.
Well, see, that's the thing. Hands up, you have to base on whatever the material you have, whatever is physical. You cannot say, okay, actually, this is a closed tank, and then then that's a recommendation. You have to draw this correctly. Exactly, because the DAP is not corrosive, so you're right. Okay, this sounds more severe now. So we definitely need to reconsider about the severity. Okay, any more consequences that we can? And of course, this has to be credible too. So far, we made it all credible by looking at this drawing. So if not, then let's go to safeguard. Do we still agree that we don't have any safeguard for all the above? And how about severity at this point? Yeah, then you have corrosion, and so basically you have more frequent maintenance issue. So you may damage the tank, right? Yeah. So well, Don, you had the experience with ammonia problem. So what happened? To tell us.
There was a pipeline that was sitting there in the old fish processing plant for over 10 years. They didn't think there'd be any ammonia gas still left in there. So when they cut into it, it ruptured, and the guys that are cleaning out of the factory, and the fumes were so noxious that just couldn't stand in the building for at least a day.
For a whole day.
Yeah.
Wow. So how many workers are affected that basically loss of work day?
There's probably 60 people, and people had to go to the hospital for procedures.
Wow. So this is basically a major safety problem. A 4? Okay, so I guess.
I don't think there's $1 million in the damage.
So 陆晨，我给你先去付。Yeah, and how many people are in the area drilling? So
Maybe local government for that.
So your company were on the news, right? Likelihood. It's the same, like a 3. Well, that's.
by the way, if there's no flow, how would the ammonia break up into the acid?
Hopefully there's a pressure difference. We have a higher pressure going into an open tank. Yeah.
Especially when it opens it up.
Yeah, and I guess if we use one of our drawings, that'll be probably more credible. But then the thing is that it's too complicated for just a simple exercise. That's why I use this one.
So we agree on likelihood number 3?
Do we agree with 3?
Yeah.
So now give us what kind of risk now? That's a D. So, oops. Now we're going to the exciting part, huh? So D, the description is undesirable, should be mitigated with engineering and or administrative controls. So, okay then. Well, then you actually have a possibility to blow up the tank.
What? Close to, I mean, if there's a lot of ammonia, but so, like level indicator,
Check it out.
Yeah.
Will indicate
Level indicator.
And yes, but how do you close B? You have to have some kind of instrument link. Say, okay, valve A and valve B has to open at the same time. If one closes, the other one should close, right? So it's become a motorized valve instead of manual valve, because what's shown is B is a manual valve, right? So someone has to realize. I guess the motorized don't we draw it differently? So close B. So basically, the way to close B is basically you have to have a kind of a flow transmitter to send the information. Say, okay, if this line without a line, you have to close the ammonia supply, right? Is that what you're saying? All right. Do we have other ideas to resolve the problem or mitigate the consequences? Oh. that could be pretty expensive. So, any ideas? Any more recommendations that? Level transmitter. And the cheapest way to solve it is the operator needs to check frequently, right? What? And the operator sees it's an open tag, the operator needs to wear the proper PPE. Any more? Okay, now let's talk about the residual risk, and we do want to rank those individually and see how effective these are. And also, a lot of times, you can recommend the best safety and the most layer of safety. A lot of times, clients will consider how effective your recommendations are, and also decide. And also the cost, decide to choose one. And also another thing is to remember our recommendation, the engineers may decide when they review it, may decide, okay, none of them are really effective, so actually in the actions tracking log, and you probably will add a new resolution was the engineer's idea to resolve this, and that's which a lot of times can be more effective.
What about, say we do 2 and if 2 works properly, the rest of them will be non-issues? Or do you rank the order of which one, besides, the risk ranking, do you say,
I think you
just do number 2, the rest of them okay?
Yeah, definitely, because I've never seen so many recommendations at once either. Yeah, but it's good because this is a group effort, and it's different. People have different ways to resolve the problem, and I guess Ruston has a very good idea that we probably want to find out which one is the in the group that's the most efficient way to resolve the problem, so we don't have this exhaustive list of things that the engineers have to do. The same as above, right? You still have the no reaction, loss of production, so same as what we have in the first one, when the valve closed, then basically. Yeah, and also, because the tank is empty, we will not have the overfill problem on the tank. So we actually, no, may not. True.
Right where the reactor is, so that it doesn't go into the pipeline at all. It doesn't go back.
To start from the very beginning.
Or
safety bypass of what? Bypass.
It'll bypass the reactor, and you can either go to a line that needs ammonia heat from instrument, or it could be a circular system that's your tank. But I think that would be possible in most areas.
I think for safety, I think.
Well,